welcome back. I'm Bill Dolan, President of Logan County Genealogical Historical Society, and we're here with the 11th video in the series of the Civil War, following the Logan County men. Today we're starting out with a new regiment, and today is the 4th Cavalry Regiment, and it was formed in Ottawa, Illinois, but one of the companies came out of Mount Pulaski, and it was Company H. So they are in camp near Ottawa, and if you've been up in that area, it's between Ottawa and Starved Rock State Park. I'll read the letter to you. This is somebody that's been visiting and wrote back about what he found there. Editor Herald, this is the 10th of October, 1861. Having visited Camp Hunter and seen the sights, and thinking that probably that most of your readers would like to know their friends there are flourishing, with your permission I will give a brief account. I arrived at the camp on Friday morning last and was cordially received by all my acquaintances and invited to partake of the comforts of soldier's life during my stay. The location of the camp is well selected and possesses all the necessary advantages, lying high and dry on the bank of the Illinois River. Although the weather during the last week has been very severe on the men on account of heavy rains, yet on Monday last there were only 2 cases in the hospital, and they were to be discharged in a day or 2. Speaking of the hospital, I wish here to state that I was in and around it nearly half the time during my stay and had ample opportunity for observation, and my opinion is that it is a well-managed institution. The chief surgeon, I believe, has not yet been appointed, but this place is well filled with Assistant Surgeon Dr. H.C. Luce of Bloomington. The steward, Mr. Hazelwood, is a young gentleman lately from Liverpool, England, a man well qualified for the position, while the patients of the wards are under the kind care of our friend Finney. Sunday was a beautiful day, with a clear sky, and the men had the benefit of Old Sol's cheering influence for the first time in nearly a week. The duties of the Sabbath are very light. Aside from the ordinary work of cooking and a dress parade in the morning, nothing was done, and the men had ample time for reading, writing, attending divine service, which was held on the parade ground. The services last Sabbath were conducted by a reverend of the Episcopal Church, and was attended by the entire regiment and a large crowd of citizens from the city and county. I visited the camps of the different companies on that day and found all quiet and orderly, and I was very well pleased to see the Bible in the hands of scores of men. When I went to the tent used as the guardhouse to see who might be the unfortunate ones there, but was surprised and gratified when the guard informed me that there was nary a prisoner. I spent the nights generally in the officer's tent of Company H, having for a bedfellow our old friend Squire, now Lieutenant Fisk, Captain Wemple, and Lieutenant Callan occupying a bunk close by, and a dark-skinned, curly-headed contraband rolled up in his blanket and curled up on a pile of hay by the entrance. On Saturday, Colonel Dickey announced his appointment of Lieutenant Colonel and the majors of the regiment, and said that by Monday the rest of the staff officers would be appointed. On Monday at dress parade, we were all agreeably surprised to hear announced as the adjutant of the 2nd Battalion. This promotion gives him the rank and pay of the 1st lieutenant and $10 per month extra. Our company have got their horses and saddles and are well satisfied with them. Captain Wemple is the largest officer of the regiment, and Lieutenant Fisk is the tallest, while Callan, I understand, is the chess champion. The men are learning the drill very fast, taking lessons on foot and mounted every day. There are numerous other matters of which I would like to speak, but I fear I have already trespassed too much upon your time and space. The regiment will probably go to Camp Butler overland soon, and on their way will either pass through Lincoln and Mount Pulaski or by way of the old stage road through Middletown. Yours, X. He just signed it X. And I think I may have another letter or two from him later on. We also have local things going on. In that same paper of October 10th, we learned that Lieutenant William P. Callan of Captain Wemple's company has been promoted staff officer of Dickey's regiment. We learned that our fellow citizen Samuel Smith, Esquire, has tendered an important position in the Army. Lieutenant Myers departed for Cape Girardeau Monday last, so also our war correspondent, from whom our readers may now expect exciting weekly letters on the rebellion in Missouri. Our friend Mr. Sturges, formerly of the Herald office, has enlisted for the war. He has tendered the position of orderly sergeant and designs to accept. Mr. Sturges would make a good soldier and, with experience, a first-rate officer. J. Babcock, Lieutenant Colonel of the 7th Regiment, Illinois Infantry Volunteers, has sent us the pay list Captain C.W. Holden's company. What the Colonel desired us to do with it is the question, and we therefore announce its reception for the benefit of those concerned, who, if they wish to examine the document, can have the privilege by calling at our office. So soon as we find space, we shall publish the list of names in full. Now back at home, we have the Logan Union Convention that they've been talking about. And this comes in October 17th, 1861. It says, agreeably to a call, the citizens of Logan County, through their delegates, met in convention at the courthouse in Lincoln on Monday, the 17th of October, 1861, for the purpose of nominating candidates for the county offices. The following gentlemen appeared accredited delegates to the convention. So I won't read that list. If you're interested in it, send me a message and I will see that you get that. It's all listed in the book. And then we're going to move past that list. And it says later on here, on motion, J.R. Boucher was called to the chair. On motion, A.F. Reiser was elected secretary but declined. On motion, H.C. St. Clair was then elected secretary. A committee of 3 was appointed to examine credentials as follows: A.L. Bryan, A.J. Lannerman, and J.R. Marquette. The committee reported the delegates full from all precincts except Prairie Creek. On motion, A.M. Fellows and R. Stroud were appointed tellers. After numerous candidates had been announced, the nominations were as follows: for county judge, R.B. Ewing; for associate judges, John Shoup and Asa Barnes; for county clerk, John T. Jenkins; for assessor, treasurer, M. McElhaney; for school commissioner, J.H. Beadler; for county surveyor, Joseph W. Ewing. On motion, the convention unanimously concurred in the nomination of James H. Hale by the Mason County Convention as delegate to the state convention. Resolved that we cordially approve and endorse the sentiments of the speech of Senator Douglas in relation to our national troubles, delivered before the legislature of Illinois on the 25th of April, 1861. Resolved that a war of aggression and extermination is being waged against the government of our fathers, and the simple question is presented us whether we will wait for the enemy to carry out his boast of making war upon our soil, or whether we will rush as one man to the defense of the government and its capital and turn back the tide of revolution and usurpation. Resolved that there is no cause for this invasion of the rights of and authority of the United States, that at no period from the time that Washington was inaugurated down to this hour have the rights of the southern states been more secure than they are at this moment. Resolved that it is our duty to lay aside for the time being our party creeds and party platforms, to dispense with our party organizations and partisan appeals, to forget that we were ever divided until we have rescued the government and the country from their assailants. Resolved that the shortest way to peace is the most stupendous and unanimous preparation for war, and that it shall not be our fault if the County of Logan does not contribute her full share, both of men and money, to restore the authority of the government and secure good order and harmony in all the parts of the country. Resolved that this convention deeply regrets the death of Theodore Stryker, late coroner of this county, who died from exposure in the service of his country, and sincerely sympathize with his relatives and friends in their irreparable loss. On motion, resolved that the Secretary furnish a copy of the proceeding of the convention to the editors of both the county papers for publication. On motion, convention adjourned. J.R. Broucher, President. H.C. St. Clair, Secretary.